Break channel, where we're attempting on taking this trail craft right there from east coast to west coast, Tweed Heads to Broome. We're in pretty much Jurassic Park today. We have one of the most incredible backdrops. We spent the last 3 hours, took 120 k's to get from Bryce's shack to where we are today. There's some incredible waterfalls in this zone up the back. We're just going to putt up this river to see if we can actually anchor in it. We've got heaps of wind coming, so we really need to find a good spot where we can hide away for the next week. This zone, I don't know if the GoPro really does it justice, but it literally looks like Jurassic Park where it could have been filmed. Hey. Yeah, fucking nice. Today we're probably up here somewhere. We're pretty north at the moment. We've made some incredible tracks the last couple of weeks with the weather. We can afford to be stuck for a week, and hopefully we get a day where we can get out of the wind and get some K's done on the trip. Look at this spot. Dad's just dropping me in. He can't come into the waterfall because he's got to look after Bubs. It's a national park. We were in that river before, but it's getting a bit low now. We were going to stay here, but the anchorage here is actually crap. So I'm going to have a swim at this waterfall, and then we're going to shoot it back around 10k to Hinchbrook, make our way through Hinchbrook, because the weather is going to be brutal and it's blowing straight in here, and we're just getting rocked around out there. Probably could anchor in here, but you'd dry out. Oh, floody. We'd love to spend a little bit of time fishing here. That's all right. That's part of dealing with the weather. So it's actually called Zoe Falls. It's a pretty sick rainforest. This would be nice and cool back in the day if you were trying to make some ground. It's about 5 degrees cooler in here. Are you kidding? Holy moly. That is so clear. This is up there one of the coolest waterfalls I've been to. Definitely one of the clearest. Oh, wow. I'll send that drone up so we can see what's going on up the top there. I'm sure there'd be another pool right up the top there. I probably won't have the time to get there, but we'll have a look at it with the drone. I always think when I come to places like this, imagine how amazing this would have been for the Aboriginals back in the day, stumbling upon watering holes. Just absolute survival placing right here. Fresh water to drink. Creek full of fish. Very special part. Just another thing Australia has. Out on an island, we're on an island here. Crazy to think that. I haven't flown this thing around trees much before. Always flying it on the boat. I'm a little bit nervous. One of the most stunning locations I've been to. I say it all the time, but how good's Australia? How good's all the places that we have? Oh. There's heaps of little fish swimming around here. I'm actually not too sure what they are. we'll land the drone, go for another swim, head back. You know the one thing that's missing from this spot? Steffi. I wish you were here, babe. This is right up your alley. Love ya. Back to the boat. There she is. Yep, luckily we didn't come in here because that bank is nearly gone the whole way across there. I told Dad I'd fly the drone around him to let him know when I was ready to go. Hopefully that woke him from his sleep. There's some fish in that river. Fucking hell. Oh, hello. Put that on your bucket list. Big man?
That was.
Mental.
Get the drone shots?
Yeah.
Had to look for the drone up in the air, sick.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Okay. So the wind tomorrow is going to be howling, so we're actually going to have to punch into it back 10 k's to get into the Hinch Brook River. Hinch Brook?
Yeah, at Lucinda.
At Lucinda. So we're going to have 10k of a bit of pain. But then we're going to be in there. And we'll be nice and tucked away, and hopefully the wind will scare all the bugs away too. That was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah. Sick. How much you come? Gonna answer some questions that I've been asked on the channel, and then I put out a little thing on Instagram if you want to know any things about what we got going on. And the first one I'm going to answer, because I think it's a good one, is what's our favourite mod and what's the worst mod we've done to the boat? Our favourite mod we've done to the boat is 100% the fuel tank. Not having to carry around jerry cans and having all the fuel under the boat has been a game changer and has made this trip so much easier. If I could have just one mod out of all the mods we've done, I'd pick that one. The worst mods we have is probably our battery setups. I don't love them. It works. If I could do it differently, I would have a sort of lithium setup that does charge everything. At the start I said of the series, I said I wouldn't go lithium, but if I could get a really good lithium setup, I probably would do it. Another one, the mod that I'd probably exchange is, it's a tricky one. The legs on the boat, if you want to have trim tabs, you'd have to get rid of them. So, you know, we will be drying out a lot, so it's one of them ones like, do you forsake being level when you dry out, or do you have a bit more of a stable ride when you're driving? That one is a tricky one, but having some trim tabs on here would make it better for when just leveling out the boat. I asked what we're running with the battery setup, so I said it in the first step, but I'll say it again. We have one battery there, 120 amp. That's just rigged up to the solar panel. That runs the fridge. That solely runs the fridge, and that's it. In the back of the boat, there's two batteries. What amp do you know they are, Dad?
Just starting batteries.
Just starting batteries. I don't know what amperage they are. There's two of them. When we sit still, we can flick it to just one battery, and that runs all our fans, lights, sounders, all our electronics except the fridge. That and has worked really well. That's been a great setup. The generator runs the Starlink, and the Starlink chews 5 amps an hour, so it chews a lot of battery. When we have the Starlink running, we also charge, like we run our phones off these, so you can plug into your DeWalt's. So we charge all the DeWalt batteries when we run the Starlink. Same with this King's as well. And I charge my computer up through this and through these. They just connect straight in. I don't know if it's great for your computer, but I do that. And I also charge the computer when we get the generator going as well. Computer battery usually lasts me about probably 2 charges will get 1 edit done. I got asked how long does it take me to do an edit. An edit takes me around, depending on how it all pieces together, takes me around a day, I'd say. So 1 day every week, or a day and a half every week, is dedicated to editing and uploading, because uploading is a job in itself as well. You gotta, you know, it takes a couple of hours to upload, and then you gotta put in all the subtitles and everything involved with it. It's actually quite a big job once you've actually finished the video. What I film with is my drone there, Dad? I have a GoPro Hero 13 and a GoPro Hero 12. The 12 I find is better for fishing. It's quicker, like turning on and off, and I have more batteries for it. So when I'm fishing, I film with the 12. When I'm just filming, I film with the 13, and this has like the mod kit on it that has the microphone so you can hear me better. And then I have the DJI Mini 4. That's it. That's all I film with. I can't have an extravagant setup on here because we're limited with space. Plus, that seems to work really well for doing the videos that I'm doing. It's more of a vlog style, so you know, you don't really need a big fancy setup. I would love to one day have someone come along and film it, but that will be a long way down the track. Best feed on the trip so far will definitely be that mud crab. I absolutely love eating mud crabs, and I'm keen to eat them all the way around. Yeah, so that's the best feed so far. Cheers, Bryce, for that one. And further into the channel, there'll be a lot more cooking and fish cooking stuff going on. We've been on the boat today for a month. Like, this is literally the month mark today, and we've still been trying to get the hang of everything that's been going on, and we've been doing a lot, so it's been hard to cook, film, fish, drive, like just adding it all in to one video. It's a huge job. So once we get a bit more settled, I'm going to add a lot more cooking into the channel. Fuel economy, it's pretty much with the big motor, 1 kilometer, 1 litre. It's kind of what it's at. We thought it would be better, but it's not. That's what it roughs out at. If we have a nice day and we've got a good plane, we can sit around about 1.2 kilometers to the litre. When we're going bad, like real bad, it's about 0.7 kilometers to the litre. When we're using the little motor that we've got out the back there now, it's about 3 k's to the litre, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, but it's around the 3k to the litre mark. So we've been trying to use it as much as possible. Where we are in this river now, if we drove in a straight line to get here, it's around 1,300 kilometres, but we've done a lot more than that. We're driving out to the reef and driving around. So we're probably at the 2,000 to 2,500 mark, and that equals to about 5 grand in fuel. That's how much it's roughly at right now. So by the time we get to the top, it's going to be from Tweed Heads to the top of the country, depending on the fuel price. It's going to get a lot more expensive when we get more remote, but it is going to be around 10 grand to get to the top. How I have budgeted for this trip, I left with enough money to get to the top, hoping that this channel would do well, and the money from YouTube is how it's going to cover this trip. And yeah, that's just what it is. I've been asked to do Patreons, and a few other little you know, companies have been contacting me and stuff like that, but I really do want to keep the channel as just as core as I possibly can, and I don't want to have too much advertising on here. If I'm going to work with a company, I really want to work with companies that I believe in, and I don't want to be pushing products on you guys that I don't think are genuinely something I like or believe in. So yeah, at the moment, YouTube is just covering it. Just. I think by the time we get to Broome, I still will have no money. That's how we're covering the trip. Where do we go to the toilet? Off the back of the boat. Where does Bubs go to the toilet? Off the back of the boat, on the transom. We take her into land as much as we possibly can. Yeah, but yeah, we go to the toilet off the back. Where do we shower? We don't. We swim in the ocean, and when we can find a shower on land, we go in there. But yeah, we're not showering. But we go for swims as much as possible. We've lived our life along the ocean and surfing, and a salt water, to me, I feel clean after it. I don't need a freshwater shower. I haven't showered that much my entire life because most of the time we're in the ocean anyway. The goal on the trip is to make it to Broome. That is the main goal, but along the way it's just to have fun and adventure and check out remote and just check out Australia. We would be doing this with or without YouTube or anything like that. This is what we love doing, and this is our life, and this has been our life for a long time. So our goal of the trip is to actually make it to Broome, but realistically the goal is to just do what we've always been doing and go adventure Australia and check out the best parts of the country. The fuel before, with the remote locations to get fuel, because we have such a big fuel tank, we can make it to all these fuel spots. There's a few unique ways we're going to have to get it along the way. There's some spots where you have to get fuel dumps and stuff like that, but it's all possible. You just got to organise these things. Do me and Dad argue? Not really. We don't at all, do we? But no, we don't argue. Bugger all. We get along. We bricklayed together for 3 years. Before that, we travelled around Australia for on and off 10 years. We've lived in caravans, troop carriers, buses. I've barely even slept in houses most of my life. So yeah, we've always been in quite small spaces, and we know how to work around each other's emotions. The size of the boat, I wouldn't want to do this trip in anything any smaller than this. You could do it. If you're going to do a trip like this, I wouldn't recommend sleeping on land at all on the way around. And if you went any smaller than this, that would be something you'd have to probably take into consideration. And not only that, how much fuel you can store on your boat, weight wise. Like, we're at the limit with how small I believe you can do this in. You could do it smaller, I just think it would be really hard. Malcolm and Nat done it in smaller boats, and those fellas were pretty hardcore rough people. So unless you've been brought up and done some pretty radical trips around Australia where you've really roughed it, I think it would be really difficult. Even just being in this river system with midgies and raining and being battered out to sea, coming in here and feeling exhausted, being able to just lay in the cabin and regain your strength has been crucial. If you had to then come in here and set up on the beach and then deal with the bugs and then deal with anchoring your boat, wading through the mud like we did the other day at Bryce's joint, it would be quite difficult. You wouldn't want to do it in anything small than this, would you?
No, it'd be a totally different trip.
Yeah.
Like, we're going now from, we're just cruising along Cinder to Car, well, 40 k's, it's raining, miserable. Now, we may get there, we're not in a hurry, and if we decide to pull over and sleep on the boat, you got to be able to do that. Sleeping's crucial.
Yeah.
Most important thing we do.
Yeah, having a comfortable sleeping setup. If you're going to do something like this, make your bed comfortable and dry, and yeah. How do you go about planning a trip like this? I really don't know, because we didn't really plan it that well. How we do it is we take it week by week. We don't think about, getting to the Broome. We just take it, what we see, what's ahead of us. How do we figure out how to get to there? Once we get to there, then we replan on how to get to the next spot. I haven't got, months and months out planned. Although, weather is the biggest thing you got to think about. So the first part of the trip, we kind of got a bit lucky-ish with weather, but we knew that autumn is the time of year where you do get a lot of light windows. Now up the top, when we get further up, it's coming into trade winds where it blows its head off. We might be in for a hell of a trip from here to the top of the country. But it's at the end of the wet season and going into the start of the dry season. I'm hoping that it's going to have a window where it does have light winds. At the end of the wet season going into the, at the end of the dry season going into the wet season is the best time of year to do the top. We're doing it the opposite way around, and I'm hoping it has a similar effect. I might be completely wrong, but for doing this trip, if you left in summer, we would be dealing with northerlies trying to get up to here. The whole way up, we're going to have the wind behind us. Once we get around the top, and the trade winds are really kicking in when we get towards winter, then we're going across the Gulf, and the winds are behind us the whole way across the Gulf, all the way to the Kimberley. We have wind behind us pretty much the whole trip. That was the main thing we thought about when doing this trip, is which way the wind's blowing. What's the best time of year to be in this part of Australia? And that's the main thing you got to think about if you're going to try and plan a trip like this. You don't want to be thinking so much about, you know, where you're going to go and what you're going to do. The most important thing is, when you get there, is the weather going to be good or bad? So that's something you really want to think about when doing any trips around Australia, anywhere. You got to be in the northwest in summer. It's one of the worst places in the world, in my opinion. It's hot, it's windy, there's flies everywhere. You got to be a pretty tough breed to live up there at that time of year. Whereas in winter, it's the best place in the world. There's bloody bugger all wind, there's swell, there's fish, and it's nice cool temperature, and there's no flies. So if you're going to plan a trip like this, the first thing you want to think about is weather, and then from once you've picked, you think it's a good time of year to do that trip, then I just take it week by week on where I'm going and how far we can get. And that's how we have planned this trip, and so far it's working, but we are coming into some pretty wild. This next stretch, as I said before, is going to be the hardest part of the trip. I know it. And I'm hoping we get some weather windows to get up there. At the moment, it's blowing 25 to 30 knots for a month. So, but I really don't know how we're going to get there at this stage, but I'm sure we're going to get a day here and there where we're going to be able to get some kilometres done. The budget for the trip, I roughed it out to be 30 to 40 grand in fuel and food and extra costs. We're up to about 5 grand in fuel, probably 2 grand in food, and then I bought the generator, 2 grand there, a couple other things, probably up to about 10 grand. Once we get to the top, I guess it'll be more around the 15 mark. So yeah, I might go a bit over budget, but I'm happy with that. This is all worth it to me. This is money well spent. So before YouTube, what I do for work, so YouTube is only really just starting to cover the costs pretty much since the start of the year. Before that, I was working in so many miscellaneous jobs. I bricklayed with Dad when I got dropped from Billabong and the surfing for 3 years, doing brickies labouring in Sydney. Once he stopped sort of doing that and he started travelling around, I did roofing with Phoenix. He's been on the trips with us as well. He's got the Sea Devil. He's a madman on the water. I did steel fixing in Karratha for a while and concreting, and then I did concreting in Ballina. Yeah, along the way I found, you know, the harder jobs pay better when you actually don't have the trade in it. If you're willing to have a crack and put your head down, you get paid well. I want to, when I work hard, and then I usually work as much as I can for 3 months to get enough money so that I can go away again. Yeah, so they're the jobs that I've done before the YouTube. One fish I want to catch on this trip is, I'd love to catch a triple tail. My goal of the trip fish is a meat of salty barra. Last year I went so hard fishing that I did tick off so many species that I really wanted to catch. This year I'm more happy to just catch a feed and explore. And I'm originally from, I was born at Manly. I go for Manly Seagulls in the footy, but I was born in Sydney, went to school in Kelkel till the age of 9. Then my mum hurt herself and Dad pretty much packed up his whole life and started travelling around Australia. So since the age of 9, I've pretty much been travelling Australia. We based ourselves out of Crescent Head for about 6 years, and I took up surfing when I was about 10, and then we were homeschooled on and off, in and out of school a little bit. Went to school, high school in Kempsey for a little bit, but yeah, just started surfing when I was about 10, got sponsored when I was about 14, and then It was all going well for a very long time. I was paid to free surf. It was a great time there, and then when that all wrapped up, started working, and then ended up doing this. But yeah, been just traveling around Australia pretty much for the last 20 years, just fishing and surfing. Do you care about my story? Setting old crab trap out. This is actually our tow rope. We used to tow in with this rope.
Look out, bubbies, don't go in there.
There's a name on there.
Coffee.
Coffee. What just happened? The rod
Leapt out of the rod holder with a fish on it, sank to the bottom. It's like 3 meters deep, and we threw some jigs in, and I hooked it, and now Jackson's winding in the fish. That's crazy. And it's a shark. Oh, we got the rod and reel back though, and it's an unreal rod.
I was sitting here and I looked back and the rod just went zzz, and then just like and just launched out of the water. I didn't even think they could come out of them holders.
It's never happened.
Another day of rain tomorrow, and then maybe a bit the next day. It's quite brutal in here with it. Just damp all day long.
I mean, it's not horrible.
No.
You want to grab that rod?
But I would hate to be doing this in the wet season.
Oh, that one will.
Don't know what that thing is. Some sort of cod. The female mud crab. I didn't have any little males in there. I'm going to have to let them go. But you can tell by that there, or you can tell by the claws, they're tiny little claws. The bucks will have a lot bigger claw than that, sorry. And that there should be more triangular. So it's too wide, that section. Yeah. Both female. Unfortunately, this one's lost a nipper on the little excursion, but we'll go drop them back at the mangroves. No mud crab for lunch. We've come up with a plan last night. We're going to take a bunch of stuff off the boat for this next stretch because it's going to be the hardest part of the trip. So we're going to get rid of the tender and try and get someone to get it to Weipa for us. And just a bunch of stuff that we just it's not as if we're not using it, but it's just not a necessity. So we're going to be when we get to Mission Beach, we've got a mate there. I'm going to drop we're going to try and get rid of a couple 100 kilo. Even though we have the the tender's been unreal so far, but we are coming into crop country, and I don't think with the winds that we're going to have, we're going to be even able to get out to a lot of islands. So it's going to be a little bit useless. I don't want to be driving around the tender in these croc infested rivers. My plan is not to die on this trip, especially by eaten by a crocodile. And yeah, there's just some stuff we can just get rid of a couple 100 kilo. Hey Dad?
Yeah, definitely. Like traveling with less fuel, like instead of sort of thinking that we need the whole 600 or 700 litres on board, we might just travel with 300 from place to place, which I mean straight away there's 200 and something kilo.
Yeah, need to minimise weight for this next 1,000 k's and make it there. Once we've made it around the top, we should be in some pretty flat water and not so much current and wind, but we got to get there first. It's a shark. These sharks in this river, I tell you what, we've been live baiting every night, and all we seem to be catching is sharks. This is on the entrance of, the exit of drains. You know, I think we're doing everything you can possibly do to catch a barramundi in this river. And all we seem to catch is shark.
Come around here, Jack. I think you might go. It's a shark.
Yeah. Well, good morning. Another live bait, another shark. A bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Rubbish. Go check the beach out.
Yeah.
Not a crab.
Not a soul. Oh! Proper pontoon up the back of this river. We've come about 10k up this river, and as we've docked up, another boat's pulled up. So in the background there, you can hike, you get dropped off here, and you do a 4-day hike over the Thorsbourne Trail, which goes over the Hintchen Brook Island, and it would be such a cool thing to put on your bucket list. I'm sure you go past Zoe Falls and a bunch of cool waterfalls on the way. Actually, wait there if you're keen enough.
No driving a boat in that. It's dangerous. Next CT will be there. Some bright spark will come up with a good idea to throw it out there.
You know, it's not much of an elevation of mangroves, and how protected we are in here compared to out there. Those winds were not much different than what was happening at Cyclone Alfred. It was that cyclonic. We've got the YouTube uploading for you for the Sunday eps, but we're just looking at the weather. We've had some, I mean, we've been in the rain and we're still in the rain, but we've got an opportunity to get out of this river where we are there and get up to Mission Beach. Show them the forecast after that. It's brutal. That's the whole way through it. We're actually, I would say battling today, but it's probably been one of the more tricky days of the trip. We'll get there. The next month is going to be.
No, we're going good. Like,
it's
all going good. You just got to reassess things and go, okay, we've got to, you know, get the sun back out, get everything nice and dry, wash all the blankets, and then focus on that weather and somehow get around that section heading up towards Cape York. That looks like a really tricky bit.
Yeah.
If you get a day where it's really blue for 300 or 400 kilometres, it's almost like, well, you know, we're not going fishing.
Yeah.
We're travelling 200 or 300 kilometres.
Yeah. Not only have to deal with wind, we have to deal with crazy currents. So.
And crocodiles.
And yeah.
Just dangerous waters. Dangerous, lonely waters.
Once we get around the tip butt, we're on. That's pretty much.
So we think.
It'll almost feel like half a finish line when we get around the top, I swear. We'll have the wind behind us, the ocean's, you know, in the Gulf, it's quite flat. So, that's what I'm thinking. As we get further north, there's going to be a lot more barramundi fishing. But at the moment, we put in the effort today, probably fished for about 4 or 5 hours and didn't get a hit. And that's about as long as I'm going to fish without getting hit.
Well, we had it's been a cold snap come through. The weather's gone from mid to 30 to 32 degrees and 25 degree nights.
Yeah.
It's 11 degrees down and 22 top.
Yeah.
It's just completely changed.
Yeah.
And raining.
Yeah. And Mitchies. Mitchies. Oh, I'm actually itchy. I've dried now. Well, we'll see you in the morning, check the pot, and then we'll keep tracking further to Cardwell, and then hopefully we can get to Mission Beach. Good night. Today we're going to punch it out into possibly some wild weather. See if we can make it to Cairns, if not Mission Beach. And yeah, it's going to be a mission. One of the interesting things that we're learning along the way is as we're driving, all the different conditions that we're taking the boat in. So today we have wind behind us, swell side onto us, and it's actually not too bad. The boat's kind of just rolling over the waves sideways and the wind's pushing us along. If we were going that way with the swell, it would be a pain in the ass. But at the moment, if it stays like this, there's a chance we'll get to Cairns today. We really want to get to Cairns because we need to reorganise everything on this boat. On the next stint, we need to get both the motors serviced. Need to get the winch is making a bit of a noise thing. We have to change the bearings and just reorganise the boat. I mentioned earlier in the video, we're going to cut some weight off the boat for this next stint that we're doing because it's going to be quite dangerous. And yeah, so we just need a week. Tomorrow, pretty much tomorrow onwards, it's blowing 40 knots. Today is our only opportunity for the next pretty well month to get to Cairns. So if we can get there, we're going to get there. And then at least when we're in there and it's windy, we have time to reorganise the boat. Plus there's great barra fishing in there. And yeah, I think that's just the best plan we can come up with. It'd be amazing to do, you know, Mission Beach, Innisvale and the whole coastline along here, but we're so weather dependent. If we see a half opportunity to get north, we're going for it. We are just managing at the moment. Just.
I hope we get out this current.
Yeah, so do I. That was gnarly in there.
We out of it?
Yeah, I think so. That was gnarly. It's shaking. It's genuine fear out of these waters. Also, because I think we've spent so much time in the ocean, you know how quickly shit can go wrong out here. We're driving through places we've never driven. We don't know exactly what's going on. We can't imagine back in the day Captain Cook and these adventurers, how switched on they were with the ocean and mapping the world out would have been an incredible task. Yeah.
If we want to get around this island, we want to get around it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Still a fair way to go.
Yeah.
Get water going out of the field.
Yeah. You want to turn around?
What do it look like if I go slow? Well, we're fucked. We'll get around that. Surely it's a bit better.
Yeah. How you feeling? Pretty.
Oh, I feel alright. down.
Yeah.
Painful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I should go back to my fishing okay.
I'm nearly around that island.
Yeah, I've got to go a long way back in too.
Yeah.
I've got to go with the swell to get back in.
Yeah, I'm not around.
Right, see what it's like going back.
Yeah.
Fuck. How far back in fishing?
Let's just check this out first.
What?
Let's just see how we go driving into it.
Not real fucking good.
No.
I have to go around today.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for almost making.
That island. Let's just get into that island and hide behind it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to try and do, but my only problem is I've got to go back in at some time.
Go out as far as we can away from this rib.
Well, I am. I'm pretty long way out, eh?
Still pretty bad, but we think it's gotten a little better. We've just gotten past these islands, and I think it's causing all this current. Not gonna lie, it's pretty scary right now. Slow down, slow down. Yeah, but I reckon go to this
Yeah, I'm going to have to. That's far. Can't do that.
Nah.
I think I should go straight in.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hate that. Power through it?
Yeah, power through it. Yeah, you're doing good. Keep going.
Holy shit, that. That's about as stressed as I've ever been.
That was so damn dangerous out there. Oh my god. Wow. Good driving, mate. Far out. That was fucking gnarly.
How far are we from Cairns?
That calls for a nap, that does. You could sleep for a whole day and still not recover from that experience.
Well, we're in a safe place now and we're near a town and we're good.
And we don't know how we're going to get to the top. I don't know how we're going to get there. Look at this weather.
The weather's brutal.
Look at this. That's till the end of the forecast. There's actually one day I reckon we can get to Cairns on the 15th, that's it. And the rest of it is terrible. That's what we were just out in. Whose idea was that?